Yeah, and so, yeah, it will. And so, fuck, what was I saying? And so, Sekum is, because I said Sekum was, just without knowing, I said Sekum would, the super artificial intelligent quantum machine, would be able to connect with consciousness, right? And it would be, and I said it, and again, without knowing, it's because I pull all this information, and we must all do it to a degree, but maybe not as much as I do it, but I'm scratching my fucking head because, stop it. Yeah, I can't help it. I'm trying to dig a hole in there. And, because this whole story is like, comes out in pieces at any time throughout my life. And I don't know why I've done that, but, and it's the same way it all comes out, like, you know, in its written form. It's all random. Like if you look at if I can do that. Like there's no rhyme or reason to the order of how I've done it. And it's just like throughout life, you know, everything happens to us and there's no real, in a way, there's no rhyme or reason that we can see. But there actually sort of is. You'll see that? Should have done that. Do that again. Because it's on the tripod. And then it went up and down. Look. All I'm doing is the three legs of the tripod are stuck to look. See that? They're not stuck, but, well, they are stuck, you know, because of gravity, but they're touching the table, right? And I'm just swinging this around with my hands. It was like it got dizzy. We'll do it again. Yeah, and watch. See that swing, and this isn't moving. Like it's in a clamp that's screwed to the tripod, and that's very interesting. And when I move right, it doesn't do it. But now when I move it to the left, now watch. See at the end there, it redid something. What do you think that is? I've got no idea. Go to the right? No. But to the left? Yeah, and it didn't do it as much then. What do you think that is, Peter? Why? My brain says he thinks he knows, but doesn't want to say. Okay. No, more to no. Yeah, there it goes. Anyway, leave it there. And, yeah, like I came up with the name of the story, EUNM, Earth Under New Management. Like, when was that? I can't remember if it was before we got here to our house in Berwick, but this hit me, and then I just knew that that's what the name of it is, right? But I didn't know what the book would really, and I've been writing the book in a sense, because since was born, or had my first memory. Yeah, I'm scratching my head, and if I'm wasting time or you get bored and you you turn it off or whatever, then okay, you're not meant to hear it. But if you have patience and listen, and also listen to and watch all my other videos, regardless of what you think of me, I implore you people to watch it, right? And everything and listen to everything I say, right? And I'm telling you to do it, and you should, because, right? Because I might look like an idiot and whatever to you, or I might go over your head. I'm scratching my head, I'm busy. Yeah, so if I'm pausing, there's a reason for it, because I'm timing it. And whatever I'm saying in whatever moment is what I'm saying. So listen to it, even though I'm telling you this again and again and again, and you're getting tired of it, but don't, okay? Because those who listen to this will win. They will win. Because I know shit that none of you know, and that's that. And it can come across as ego, or so be it. Then you're not ready to hear it. But listen anyway. Because what people do is they always want to listen. They always hear stuff, and at times I guess it's warranted. But because sometimes you hear stuff and it's just like, no fucking way. But what I say, because people quite often, I think, don't listen to certain things that are true because they're used to hearing maybe a whole lot of bullshit. But I just find the human default position is to go, nah, that's bullshit, or they'll judge something too quick. And that's why it says don't judge, because then you close off to the information that's trying to get to you. Even if the information is bullshit or whatnot, like, it's still for you to hear in that moment because it's there. Yeah, so actually, whether it's bullshit or not, you got to say yes. Okay, yep. And you're not saying I agree. You're just taking it in. And then think about it. Sorry, I'm good, whatever, because I just had some food. And then, and people hear that burp and they'll go, oh, that's disgusting. He just burped on there. I don't want to listen to him anymore. That shit like that's just fucking stupid. So, like, you can't burp in a restaurant or whatever. And okay, people don't want to hear the burp when you're eating. And yeah, fair enough. like that's cool. But yeah, it's so fucking what. That's why I like China. I was in China for 12 years. 12, 13 years sort of thing. Because you could burp. You could be somewhere and you could just fucking burp and no one cracks the shits, or no one, they're not concerned with that those things that don't matter. They're not concerned with our kind of protocol. They're not concerned with that stuff because it really doesn't matter. It only matters because you think it does. And in the end, if someone burps in a restaurant and you need to spend time on complaining about it, well, you've wasted your time when you could be thinking about something else. Because who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck if I say fuck? Understand? Like Mum used to say. And yeah, words, I've said in another one, words have frequency to them. And when you say fuck and whatever, or it's got a connotation, like. But I'd say to Mum, but Mum, the more I say it, the less credence it has. It just becomes a normal word. So the more we actually say it, when used without the intent that it's been given, then we rectify the word's frequency, we bring it back to more of a neutral thing. And like the word fuck can be used in, you look on look on YouTube and just type in the word fuck, and it's got this cool black and white cartoony thing, and it has all the uses of the word fuck, and it's very clever. Because fuck is the most, it's like a word, like, you can use it in any sentence, in any way, and it talks about how it's an adverb or this and that type of English. Like, I've never learnt anything enough to be able to tell you like, I've learnt lots of things, but, yeah, so I can't tell you all what I just wanted to tell you, what it goes into in that thing. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. So what were we talking about? Whatever, I'll just have a break. Have a Kit Kat. What are you doing, Mark? Shut up. Have a break. Have a Kit Kat. It's a good fucking signature, that. Yeah. It's all capital letters too. Funny that. Didn't know about the usage of capital letters when I'm about the only person that does write their fucking signature all in capital letters, which I come up with when I was about fucking 17. Yeah, but there's a thing about capital letters. Notice on official documents or your bills or your whatever in capital letters, there's a reason for that. That if you go to court or something, your name will be in capital letters. Because there's a something to do with law, and the Catholic Church has something to do with it. Because on our birth certificates as well, I can't really define what a straw man is, but when I think about it, but I sort of know in a way. It's like it's a straw man. It's like what are they called? What are is it a straw man? No, the hay made into a person that's in a field, that's in a field of crops. I can't remember what the fucking hell. Oh well, whatever. Like, and in the Wizard of Oz, there's the character Scarecrow. That's it. But a straw man is like a scarecrow, and because it's fake, it's a fake person, I think. So they call it straw man, and to do in a legal sense, I think it's got to do with a fictional identity that they say is real, for example. And what they've done, I think they've made people two entities: the natural one, and they say even a natural, not natural born killer, but a natural citizen or and all this stuff's hidden away, and nobody looks into legalese. Like, not nobody, but the majority of people, and this stuff should be taught at school. They should open up, because the Rockefellers have fucked it, supposedly. The Rockefellers have done a lot. They've changed the musical tuning, which I had no idea about until sort of 5-6 years ago, that it was 432 hertz, 432 hertz, that orchestras and stuff would tune their... Yeah, somehow they tuned to that frequency, like to that. And then supposedly it was the Rockefellers come about and changed the international tuning scale, if you like, or whatever it is, to 440 hertz. And that in itself is very detrimental to the human body. But we can transcend that kind of thing, in actual fact. Because a lot of sickness and everything I'm finding out is just bullshit. It's a way of punishing people. But we don't have to run with it. Like, it can disappear. Sickness and... Because they just want to make money. Like, look at animals. Okay, there's my point. Look at animals. Yeah? Are they off getting fucking sick? No. Sometimes they do. When there's a genetic fault. Like my sister had two she liked Russian blues. And she found a breeder. Where was that breeder? In Endeavour Hills? Yeah, but I went there and yeah, I went there with her, and then I remember the breeder talking about the black Russian blues that she had, because they were sort of a grey blue, and we got Kim got one that she named Sebi, and Sebi was the runt of the litter, and this was supposedly a good breeder who had show-winning cats, and then we got the opposite of the runt of the litter, so I don't know what you call that, the pinnacle, yeah, which I've only come up with, I don't know, in the last few years, because there's a pinnacle in everything. In every category of thing, there'll be a pinnacle. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that now. And, yeah, and we, I don't know who named her, but Mum did, I think, and called her Melanie. And the cats in general are a one-person sort of, one person, they like one person more. But, well, they sort of do maybe now, but, yeah, and so anyway, then Kim got, then some months later, she wanted the black, she got a black, Chiccorny or something she called it. What did she call that cat? And I think she only got one. But it didn't live very long, and because this breeder was saying they had a double coat, and then these black ones had and she was really proud of herself. And these black ones had this double coat or something. But Kim got this cat, Chiccorny, I think. Got this black, blue Russian blue. And after, it was still, I'm pretty sure, a kitten, and she lived in Elwood at this time. Meredith Street, that's right. Meredith Street, I don't know what number, 64, 60 something maybe. And then this black, blue, Russian blue got cancer and was riddled with cancer. Like, before it actually died. Now, that never happens, right? But that shows, Right, I've just realised something. Oh, fuck, I've just realised something. Fuck. Holy fuck. Sorry, but I've just realised something because, yeah, good, right. I went on the track and then I need to think for a second. I'm pausing this, all right, I need to think, but I'll tell you what I've just come up with, because it's very important to do with your human gene pool. Yeah, so I'll try and finish this up because I got something else to do. And I was talking about Sachem, but I want to go back to, because since I've been a kid, right, or since I've been, I don't know, 15, 16, I've had this idea that, fuck, I'm picking my head again, because I've had this idea that one day we'll all, and I think I talked about this on another video, but whatever. I think I've had this idea that we're one day all going to be one colour, okay? And now I know what this is all about. Yeah, that a lot of this, what it's about, I just fucking know. Today's been a very special day, I tell you. And so anyway, that we'd all be one colour, right? Because technology's come along and communication has come along. And for instance, take a month or 2 months or whatever it was for people, and it was only those people that maybe had enough money, or it was only those people that had the balls enough to go to another country or go and explore. But you'd have to, for instance, jump on a ship, and it would take however long it took, and so nobody really did it. People, transport was slow, horse and cart, was the fastest, and for years and years and years it was like that, for a long time. Yeah, and so therefore, people didn't mix with other cultures. So you had your Asians and your Africans, and your Caucasians and your American Indians and all the different races, okay? And I would just say to myself, all I would say to myself is just one day we'll all be one colour, because the technology has come about for us to be able to go to other countries and whatnot. And like my dad left Germany, and okay, but he sort of looks like a Roman, but what I imagine one to be. But my grandma, his mum is Greek, and her grandma was Scottish, which is unusual in itself. And he was born in Istanbul, and my oppa is German, and Caucasian, Aryan, I guess. And he was like 2 meters tall, so he's got some giant in him, because supposedly there were giants around the place. Yeah, believe it or not. And the Smithsonian Institute has found a lot of I think Catalina Island off America. There were giants on there, and all around in some places in Europe, and it's potentially how these megalithic things got built, potentially. And like the Smithsonian has found, or people have found, like giant skeletons and whatever of, ranging from sort of 9 foot. Some people fucking go on to really tall, but I doubt it. But it's something like 14 foot or something. 9 foot, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, yeah, something like that. Like there's even there's a picture of the Queen Elizabeth II. Yeah, there's a picture of her seeing a giant. And it wasn't, I'm pretty sure it was not one of those, like a quirk of nature giant. But those quirk of nature giants are probably that quirk of nature because it's somewhere in our DNA, but it's been eradicated. Or maybe it just is a quirk and they become so big. But anyway, that's all another story, because you all probably laugh at that, but whatever. And the Smithsonian Institute has even, Catalina Island has even, gained possession of skeletal remains that are giants, and they've even gone off in boats or ships or whatever and gone out to the ocean and dumped them in there and stuff like that. I don't know why they just wouldn't burn them to a crisp or whatever, but yeah, so that's a bit odd. But anyway, that's just a whole nother thing. What was I talking about? Yeah, and just wait. Yeah, and so anyway, that we'd all become one colour because the technology's here, and for us to be able to travel and mix with other people. And just like my grandma and oppa were from different cultures, it was sort of a rare thing, even at that stage, her being Greek, and then her sister ended up in in Turkey or something. Yeah, that's odd. And she was in Turkey, I think, because her sister was there, and that's how she met Oppa, because he was like a boss for Ford, and I think he was running, or he was in a high position for the Istanbul branch of Ford. Yeah, Ford was there. Yeah. And then Dad was born there, which is an interesting place because it's a one place that it has 3 continents joining up there, you know. So my dad is sort of Istanbul and a boss of that. You know, he's the because when you're born on the land and when you're people like us, and we're Rh negative blood, that's got something to do with it. And anyway, yeah, like, you know, Australia's mine. I was born here, and I am what I am, and you saw the photos or whatever before of me and blah, 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 if you watched. But anyway, blah, blah, whatever. And so, yeah, I just thought that we'd all be one colour one day. And then I used the analogy that just like when families commit incest and then genetic, I'll try and do it without swearing this time, and then genetic anomalies happen within that family line because, and also what I've come up with later is because nature wants the 2 biggest opposites to come together, right, that can handle each other enough, and I use the analogy, for example, like to not kill each other, or that they're opposite enough that they still register that that oppositeness exists. Because if you're too opposite, you're too different, and therefore you can't perceive that difference because it's too different. So my mum and dad and Oppa and Grandma were probably, the most opposite 2 humans that got together on the planet and had 2 kids. And then my dad, he had piercing blue eyes but black hair, which is rare. And it's still scratching my head, but I'm timing something. And then, and nature wants that. And then my dad and my mum were in some way, shape, or form the 2 biggest opposites on the planet. That and I'll show it again. You know, that made this, which is me. I'm trying to focus. Focus, camera. Focus, yeah, that's it. Focus. You know, that made me. And, I'll show it again, because I can just carry this over there. This is my room. I'm thinking of putting, like, surveillance cameras up. Well, cameras that are just hooked up to a hard drive, and then just I live stream everything, and just when it happens, it happens. But that's my sort of family there. So that's out of focus, but that's that. Focus. Yeah, it's being funny. Doesn't want to focus properly. My dad gave me these robots. Did I write on it? Yeah, put my name on it. That one's Warwick. That motherfucker has Warwick. Hello. Yeah, I'm the robot. I got no battery, but I can still fucking talk. Yeah, all you guys are fucking dickheads. But that's okay. We're just silly robots. We just dance and do some stuff. But for 2001 or whenever they were pretty good. Yeah, so anyway, my parents made those 2 idiots there and then made this perfect one. Sorry, that's my ego. I'm full of ego. I just love talking about myself, actually. But I gotta do it because I should be proud of fucking what I am. Instead of for the last however many years being a depressed idiot, because that's what the program was, to make me depressed, to not do anything. And that's exactly what I did. But now I'm on overdrive, and I've just got to do. And so, look at me, what a gun. The sun, without a gun. That's in his pants, shut up. I didn't say that. Yes, you did. No, I didn't. You people are saying that. Which people? But it's just you, Warwick. No. It's all of you idiots inside my head. Because I'm a... what do they call it? Multiple personalities. Because I'm a multiple personality motherfucker. And in the past, when that would happen, people would be mentally ill. Because they couldn't handle it, all those characters in there. But, well, I've got these characters, and I have been mentally ill, but that was because of marijuana and because of the Second World War. Yeah, but that's another story. So I say, and I've said to my buddy, who now is my enemy, because I told him a lot about this story, and now he's just got this fucking ego like a dickhead, but and hopefully he can't handle it and he gets himself into some big trouble. Not that I really want that, but he deserves it. He's a Clive, and you spell Clive backwards, and what does it spell? Evil C. Evil Clive. So that's a marker. That's a marker to tell me what actually he is, and he's very much a stupid, because he's not very intelligent. He just sounds it. Yeah. So anyway, and then technology. So I'd say to him that technology came about, and because when the families commit incest and they mix with themselves, which I don't want to say what I usually say. Well, I may as well, but what I don't want to say, but like the son fucking making children with the mum, or disgusting stuff like that. It's disgusting because it's against the natural order, right? And they do it, and they've done it to keep wealth in their families. That's why they've done it, okay? And for the large part, they sort of gotten away with it, but that's also why they brought in, for example, a commoner like, which they call, for Prince William and Kate, they decided that they should bring in, I've got to finish this quick, so they brought in a commoner to negate that incest that they've been committing with themselves. They'd hang around with Buddy, I've got to say it, with, what's his name? Jimmy Savile. And I said it in another video, but, he's copped a medal of the royal family, and he's hung around, Prince, I wanted to say George, but, Charles. Uncle Charles. I don't want to say his title. Jimmy Savile, BBC famous guy, and procured young children, and allegedly would have sexual intercourse with dead people. Okay? I mean, that's the kind of people we're dealing with. They think they can get away with everything. Anyway, that's obviously part of their incest. But royal families would mix with royal families, and then too much of it, and they'd get royal families from other countries, and they'd all keep it in house, and so their wealth could accumulate, basically. Yeah, that's why it was, because they were greedy motherfuckers, and sorry, I'm busy. Okay. How did I get that? And so technology's only come around, say, in the last 200 years. Because before that, you'd have horse and cart, and then they even say, when was it? They say that it was 4,000 or so BC when the pyramids were built, and that they didn't even have the wheel then. I can't believe that. So what? They didn't see a nut or something fall off a tree. Someone never saw a nut, for example, on a fucking tree, like a macadamia or whatever, and then it hit the ground and it was on a hill and then it rolled down there, and they never put two and two together, going, oh, if we make something round, it fucking, that doesn't make sense to me. Like that even then, and then they built these pyramids without the knowledge of the wheel, but the pyramids were built by somebody else, and that was before the Diluvian, the Great Flood that the Bible talks about, and many cultures talk about this Great Flood, and I'll get into that later because I'm getting off the topic. And so we've got these different races around that are around the shop, and using that dynamic of incest, that if the races, because they're essentially one family, right? So eventually, after procreating generation after generation, eventually the gene pool becomes defective, if you like. Things start happening that shouldn't have happened, and this is going to get to what I just come up with before when I thought about the cats, and thought about this cat that had cancer or whatever, and then it goes into what I've come up with. And then just today and now, when I thought about it just before, and I've got to hurry up because I'm running out of disk space, and so it was. I'd say to my friend that it was almost like, because it's been really quick that we've and it's gone back to the Big Bang timeline, basically. Yeah, and because technology and whatnot has just exponentially got quicker. Like, what do they use the analogy of, or the thing of, that we went from horse and cart to rockets, in 100 years or 60 years or something, and cars and combustion engines and the industrial revolution, in England, I think started, and blah, blah, blah. It's just been very, very quick. Okay. And it needed to happen, like planes and communication, so that we could mix between different cultures. Because this actually is a genetic program, which I've come up with after thinking about will all become one colour. And that will all become one colour, I would say to people, and this is when I was like 15, and I would say to people, it'll happen in 100 years or 1,000 years or however long it's going to take, but inevitably will all become one colour. And then years of like sort of recently or whatnot, I then say because we're making a super race, that it's a genetic program, that because we've got the different cultures here, and then I've also come up with that, and this is possible. Because I find the pieces of, I know what I'm talking about when I talk about it, and then I find pieces of information over time that backs it up, okay? And you might feel I'm jumping and running around and you don't get what I'm fucking talking about, but listen. Because when I tell it to people face to face, I'm much clearer, I think. And I just worry too much that you all just want to turn off and not listen to this, but you've got to, because wars are happening and starvation is happening and nefarious ones are here, and they've put themselves into positions of power where they create negativity, which fucks up the Big Bang timeline, which is the way the Big Bang went off, and it's put all the planets and the stars and everything exactly where they are, and that's a deterministic part of it. Like, there was always going to be, from the Big Bang, every single planet, every star, right? It was preordained where they would end up and be, and at what time they would. And just believe me, what I'm telling you is right. And then this genetic program, but what they've done, the nefarious ones have come along, like the Bushes and the fucking Bill Gateses and the whatever, they want to fuck with this genetic program. And even killing the Palestinians and Netanyahu and whatnot. They're tainting it and they're changing the timeline of it, and they're killing. Like my first girlfriend in China had we got pregnant, and then people got sent around to my school where she was living, and her family was in another town far away, and they forced her, and I could do nothing about it. They forced her to have an abortion, okay? And then it comes down to what my sister wanted, and she thinks she's the pinnacle, and she thinks her daughter is the fucking queen and going to be the queen. She thinks she's the queen, but she's not the fucking pinnacle. Because there's a pinnacle, and you won't get what I'm saying maybe, but there's a pinnacle in every category of thing. There's the best one. Because no two things in the universe are the same, and then the... So therefore they're different, so therefore they all hold a different frequency, which you can attach a number to, and if you had a measuring device that could measure or perceive or fucking calculate this frequency, you could put everything in a line of, say, all the rose flowers, biggest to smallest, if there were smaller units than a Planck, and you could say their mass. Everyone would have a different mass. Every rose flower that's ever existed, the ones now, and the ones that will exist. And you can put them in a line from heaviest to lightest. So you got the pinnacle heaviest, and you got the pinnacle lightest. And then you use that dynamic, put it into a human sense, and then you say the most efficient, or the most average, or the most rounded human. That's me, okay? It just is. You saw my picture. Fucking, I can do math, I could do school, I could do sport, I could do philosophy, I can do spirituality, and they're basically the four things that are the basis of the characteristic and potential of a human. Okay? Intelligence, which is just memory, because if you remember stuff, you can put stuff together and you understand how things work. And there's got to be a pinnacle human. And my dad was a pinnacle human. Fucking I'm the pinnacle human. Get over it. Just fucking get over it. Because look at my signature, for fuck's sake. You saw my photo. Blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about myself. And you aren't going to like that. You're going to switch off. And I have to hurry up. And this genetic program is going on. But what I realised with the cat thing, talking about my sister had the cat and it got cancer. And I was saying animals don't get sick, do they? But we do. But these cats had the cancer, and that was due to an inbreeding. Okay, now what is happening now is cancer everywhere. Like people are getting cancer, but also they've done COVID and a vaccine. And believe me, watch Tucker Carlson and find the Asian doctor who's now got a thing called BioShield, which gets rid of cancer. It negates cancer, it kills the cancer cells, because our body already has a mechanism, which is a trifold system that negates cancer. It kills the cancer cells as soon as they start growing. But that's been switched off, that's been fucked with. The vaccine has done this mRNA bullshit, something to do with that. And because even getting the vaccine put COVID into you, COVID would hang around for 3 or 4 years and be in every single cell, and it would multiply, or it would do what it does. But what's this Tucker Carlson and this Asian doctor? And yeah, BioShield. Like, go to your politicians, go to your whatever, find out about this BioShield, because the FDA has okayed it for bowel cancer, but nothing else. But it also gets rid of AIDS and whatever. So there's a fucking cure there, people, but they're not letting us see it. And I'm just going to go right now, and you've just got to, I'll get back to it, but I've got to finish this up because it's going to run out. I'm going to go at 44, 43. And, so, yeah, and they fuck with the genetic program, and by also the Catholic Church, the most evil organisation on the planet, they have taken lots and lots of information, right? And they've housed it so that we can't see it. I'm going to go a bit longer. And so that we can't see it. That's a social engineering program. But what that's done, okay, what I just realised just a few moments ago, is that's fucked with our time and our natural being able to come up with new inventions and new things and new whatever, because they've taken that information away and let it not be accessed by all the humans. So therefore, it's a social engineering program, and it's the devil doing that, because the devil's inside the Pope, and more or less, which is the devil is just about lack of information transfer, a block, and sickness, and is a block, and whatever. And so if that information, they've got miles and miles of shelving that holds all this information that people have written down and whatnot, and then they've got to a point where they've had, say, the Rockefellers and whatever have made the education system what it is, and they basically teach us nothing. And we have progressed and things have happened. But when they started this project of, like, from the Library of Alexandria, even, that burnt down, but they supposedly got all books and stuff out of there, the Catholic Church and whatever, and they've been going more or less since Jesus, and I don't think he even existed, but his essence exists, and it's good. But, you know, they say don't worship false idols, right? So just that thing of being worshipped, you know, Jesus is worshipped. So by nature of that law, anybody who gets worshipped, because I tell you, God or Jesus wouldn't want to be worshipped. They wouldn't want to have you pay money. They'd want you to be free. They'd want you to go off and enjoy your life and not waste your time in a fucking church listening to some bullshit, even though the essence of religion, I think, is correct and whatnot, but not the way they've done it. They've changed it and they whatever. But the Bible, which comes from the Torah, and the Torah is very special, and that's built on number, and numbers are some of the oldest thing ever, because once you had one piece of physicality and then you had another piece of physicality, well, there's one and there's two. Whenever you got a difference of something, the numbers are there. Numbers have been there for fucking a long time. And that's why, you know, the Israelis or the Orthodox Jews and the Torah and their language is based on number. But I bet you this Netanyahu or whatever, do they still use the language? He's got an American accent, for fuck's sake. Do they still use the language properly, or it's based on number? I don't know, but that's all got to do with it. And then I'm going to go at 47, 46. So I belted out a bit there, but I'll rehash again and be more balanced with it, but I'm in a hurry now, and it's good I said what I said. Watch all my other stuff. I look like a dickhead, whatever, but we'll get there. And I need to make money. I need people to watch this so I can make some money, because I've been poor all my life. Now I've got to go 48, 47. And then, because my dad said, I wanted you to be frugal. You know, he taught me to hate money. Dickhead. He was making $700 a week being a systems analyst. You know, he'd carry on because I wanted a lunch order, or Mum wanted me to have a lunch order. You know, there's some different to have every Friday, and he'd run around the house. What is this $1 every week, bloody kid? Fucking Jesus. And then, you know, he'd feel like shit like that. So I hated money. I thought, I don't want anything to do with money, and money has fucked things up a lot. Because people just want to gather it, they want to hold on to it, they make stupid decisions because of it, they kill others because of it. They say the root of all evil, and in many, many ways it is. And even if you had a barter system, I got to go. 47, 48, 47, yep, bye.